7:32, you're listening to the Morning Cruise Control with me, Senior Airman Kellen Carr. And right now, I have the pleasure of introducing the 374th Airlift Wing Commander. He's actually in the studio right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Airman Carr. I'm even wearing red today.
You are most certainly wearing red. Okay, folks, to get you up to date, we had a bet on the Super Bowl. You know, the Denver Broncos versus Seattle Seahawks. If Denver won, I was going to have to wear Patriots or Denver gear. If the Seahawks won, Colonel August was going to have to wear Chiefs or Seahawks gear. And I dropped the ball, sir, because I was supposed to bring you a Chiefs jersey.
If you're going to drop the ball like that, I would have said that you're a Denver fan. I mean, enough fumbles, enough turnovers, and everything else. I would have thought that you would have come in for, a 43-8 type victory.
Wasn't that outcome, kind of shocking? I mean, really shocking.
It wasn't really even a football game. And so, I was really busy that morning. There was a lot going on at Yokota and everything else. And the highlight reel was enough to watch to see just how bad that game was across the board.
I think Pete Carroll had a flashback to his old USC days, like he was pounding Arkansas or somebody in that game.
I think it was amazing. And for a while there, my wife kept texting me the ongoing scores. I'm like, is this a basketball game? Is this what the scores that we're going to see here at the end? But it was unbelievable.
It was like a varsity team playing like a third grade team or something. I don't know. But, sir, you did say on that particular day, you were pretty busy because I understand we had a lot of DVs at Yokota around that time.
We really did. We had a lot of DVs going on that particular day. Anytime that Admiral Locklear comes out here and he's doing a lot of visits downtown and working with our Japanese allies and friends, that's a pretty big event for us. We had General Scaparrotti a few days prior to that. He was also doing the same thing as his U.S. Forces Korea hat. We also had the Air Force Civil Engineer, Major General Carter was here as well. And, of course, we had a whole host of folks that come here through the base. A lot of folks forget sometimes that our strategic position is so important for where we sit in the North Kanto Plain and where we sit so close to Tokyo that we stay busy all the time. And so while a lot of folks had a great time at both clubs, we were able to stream the commercials, we were able to show the entire game, there was a lot going on in the background. We had helicopter movements, we had ground transportation, we had DVs coming in and out all morning, so it made things pretty difficult. But when we think about the Westpac Mobility Hub, this is it. This is where we're at. This is what we do. And so whether that's our partners at one end of the ramp in Air Mobility Command, or it's here at the wing, or it's our tenant units, it's all about our location, and it's all about the professional airlift we bring to our senior leaders as well.
Yes, sir. And along with working with our allies, I understand we did some engagements with also with the Japanese counterparts.
We did. This is a really big event that actually took several months to plan. When I first took command, our counterparts in the Ministry of Defense here in Japan, the North Kanto Defense Bureau, they said, we really need to do some exercises in the event that there's a mishap. And we're supposed to do them once a year, but we had let that slip. So we said, we're ready to do this. We've talked on the radio before about a lot of our other participation and exercises across the North Kanto Plain and the surrounding prefectures, but this one was really important because we got to sit down with over 150 first responders, and they came from Matsugi, they came from Yokosuka, they came from Fusa, they came from all over Tokyo to say, you know what, Yokota's going to put on a small demonstration, we're going to put all of our aircraft out, and we're going to walk you through our aircraft so you understand what it looks like if you had to get in and respond. And then the best part is in the afternoon, we sat down at a tabletop exercise with all the key players of all the important emergency ops centers and said, all right, we are going to simulate an aviation mishap, and let's walk through every single step. Who arrives first? What responsibilities do they assume? How do we control the scene? Where does the U.S. Air Force get involved? How does the base get involved? And when you sit down for the first time and realize that this is complicated under any circumstance, but you have a few language barriers, you have some cultural differences, and you sit down for the first time and say, all right, I'm going to do this, you're going to do this, and we're going to work together, we're going to meet here. That's the exact type of environment we're looking for, and it's really, really important to our engagement mission that our local allies, friends, and counterparts understand what we're planning on doing and how it's all going to work.
Most definitely, sir. Well, since we have you in the studio right now, can I keep you around for a little bit longer?
I'm going to hang around for a little bit because I'm sure you're going to come up with some more witty comments about the not-so-Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. I most definitely will be talking about the not-so-Super Bowl. And also, we're going to be talking about the airmen at Yokota and some of the things that they have coming up as well. And I know you got a message for them as usual.
You bet.
But first, I want to get right back into the music. It's 7:37, folks. Here's Shine Down with Unity. I found a note with your name. 7:38 7:44. That was John Newman right there with Love Me Again. You're listening to the Morning Cruise Control. Senior Airman Kellen Carr here, and also in the studio, special guest appearance from the 374th Airlift Wing Commander, Colonel Mark August. Good morning, sir.
Good morning again.
And again, I have to bring up, you're in the studio today.
I am.
You lost the bet, and you're a man of your word.
That's right.
You stood up to it, and I do appreciate that. But I'm kicking myself because I forgot the Chiefs jersey.
We were really expecting you to have all sorts of paraphernalia, scarf, hat with a little pom-pom on the top, gloves, big finger, something like that going on. And, I at least showed up with a red T-shirt to say, look.
Sir, I don't know why in my head I was thinking, oh, yeah, he lost the bet. He said he's coming in. I'm sure he has a Chiefs shirt, right? Or, a Seahawks shirt just laying around. No. Yeah, because if I'd have lost, I definitely don't have any Denver or Patriot stuff, so I would have been counting on you as well for that. You know what, sir? I take the full brunt of it. I'm sorry. But anyway, we're going to get into it. I'm going to quit being disappointed about that. Now, what else is Team Yokota up to at the moment?
There's an awful lot going on, and, one of the biggest parts that we're really focusing on right now is taking care of airmen. Colonel Lukes and I sat in earlier this week on the Resilient Airmen Council, and that is a COMPAC-F, so a General Carlisle program of interest for him. And all the things that we've got going on around the Air Force, everything that's going on in PAC-F, how do we take care of our folks? And there's a lot of areas that we really spent a lot of time with, and the social area seems to be the one that across PAC-F, a lot of our airmen are saying, this is the area that I need the most support in. Some airmen are saying, I don't know exactly where to go for help. My theory is we have so many places to go for help that it's overwhelming at times. And so the two places I would say for airmen to go around to say, I really want to talk about this, or maybe I'm having a problem with finances, or anything that goes on in your life, the two places that are going to help you out the fastest is probably the chaplain and certainly the Airman and Family Readiness Center. If you had to pick one place, go to the Airman Family Readiness Center. They can tell you exactly who has that, the right phone numbers, the right training, the right expertise, a program that's free or very low cost. They'll be able to get you to a lot of those particular areas. And the other area that they were saying for social networking, if you will, is some folks feel like they need to get a little bit closer. They need leadership to be more involved. So Chief R, myself, the Chiefs group, we sat down and talked of how do we make sure that we're accessible. And so I get to come down, think that I was going to wear a Chiefs jersey, maybe not, but to make sure that we're accessible to everybody. I think I would like folks to believe that if they came up with an issue to myself or Chief R, we're either going to have the answer, or we're going to explain why we made the decision, or we're going to do more research to figure out what we can do to solve the problems. That's a big part of what we're doing. And so the last part is to make sure we're hitting all the airmen is to go back to our new DOC survey. That's kind of a big thing that's coming on, and the squadron commanders are right in on it as well.
Now, this used to be called a climate assessment, right?
That's right. A lot of folks remember the old unit climate assessment, and you go through and you answer a lot of multiple choice and some short answer questions. But it's really important because we've really tried to gear our survey toward what do Yokota airmen need and what do they want. Now, the standard form is going to be exactly the same. You're going to answer the same battery of questions. What do you think about leadership? How am I getting stuff done? Do you have the resources? Too many additional duties? It's the normal things that we're looking for, and we need that type of feedback as well. But I really sat down with a lot of the leaders to make sure, look, resources are getting constrained. How do we make sure that we're doing what matters the most to us, to the Air Force, to PACAF, to PACOM, and our airmen for those things? So there's a few key areas that I'm really looking for across the board. First and foremost, a key set of questions for us is, how do airmen get their information? I would love to think that there's 32 million people across Tokyo listening to us right now. I'm sure that's not the case, but are all the airmen listening to us right now? Or, I'm pretty convinced that most people hit delete on a lot of the emails we send out, and that's okay. We get a lot of emails. But where do you get your information from? Is it the Commander's Access Channel? Is it AFN? Is it the radio? Is it Facebook? Where are the areas that we can say, hey, look, if you're looking for the most current information, and you don't want it to be rumor, you want fact, where do we get that from? So that's a big set of questions for us. Another one, too, is a big part for us is, how is the Air Force doing on this, in the culture and climate of dignity and respect? How are we making sure that we are mitigating all the things like sexual assault? How are we making sure that when airmen show up to work, they know that we care, that they have the opportunity to do their job, they do it well, and they get the recognition that they deserve? Those are the things I'm really, really interested in across the board. And then there's the wild card question, which I'm really, really looking forward to, is if there is one thing you could tell leadership that you're confident they don't know anything about, what would that be? And I know that's a huge open-ended question, and I have no idea what we're going to get out of that one. But when we go back and we sit down and we take a look, I think we're going to be able to find some trends. I think we're going to be able to find some areas where we're going to be able to execute on them. But I know what most airmen and most families are really going to want to know is, what are we going to do with this information? And that's a big part of, as soon as we get the results, beginning of March, we're going to sit down with the wing leadership and really start to highlight, these are the results, these are the trends. Here's the plan that we're going to talk about it. Here's what we're going to do about it. Or here's some stuff we're going to explain that we can no longer afford to do anymore. So that's what we're going with it.
And sir, the biggest point that you brought up there when you're talking about, people getting where they're getting their information from, you said not only where are you getting your information from, where are you getting factual information from?
You bet.
Because in this day and age, with YouTube, with Facebook, with Twitter, everybody has a platform and they can just throw out whatever, sometimes a lot of garbage out
Absolutely.
there, and people will just, without even looking into it, they'll buy it. So the biggest point, like you said, bringing in, where are you getting factual information from?
You bet.
And so, I mean, that is definitely key right there.
And we're so concerned to make sure the factual information gets out that Monday over at the Enlisted Club, we are taking all the force shaping initiatives. We're going straight to the spouses. I'll be the first one to admit that even in my household, I am not the greatest one at passing all information to my amazing wife. And so I think it's important that I know everyone else is like that, so we've got to take the information straight to the spouses as well. So we're going to do a town hall. We are going to brief all the slides that we briefed the commanders. Here's an update on all the programs that are out there. Here's the timelines as we know them today, and then really make sure that the spouses understand. We all understand that this is a team sport. We come together as a family. We work through our Air Force careers together, and a lot of our spouses didn't volunteer. We did, but they're with us every step of the way, so they need to hear it from us as well. So we're going to make sure they get all the facts, and it's not going to be rumor mill. They're going to be able to yell at me personally, and we'll be there Monday night.
Yes, sir. And you know what? Big shout out to your wife, Chris. She's always, when you're talking about helping the airmen and being there for the airmen, she is always there. Every time I turn my head and, next thing you know, I got some cookies or something. Big shout out to her and all of the other spouses out there. And
you bet.
Make sure you show up to that the Force Shaping Initiative town hall meeting for the spouses at the Enlisted Club.
You bet.
So, sir, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the snow this weekend. I know we're going to get ready. I'm going to go off to a weather briefing after this. What I'd ask folks is to be smart tomorrow. I know a lot of folks. I talked to FTAC this week, and there's some folks from Miami and places deep south that have never seen the snow before until this week. Please be careful. Please give our civil engineers a chance to clear the stuff off the roads. Don't call them right away. Remember, the airfield is the #1 priority. There is a professional airlift mission. Our vehicles are going to be focused there at first. We will get to the streets. It's probably a good time. Open up a book, drink a cup of warm coffee, drink cocoa with the kids, let them build snowmen, and then let us clean up the base, and we'll be good to go.
Sir, I think that is something I know myself, being from Missouri and you being from the Northeast.
Yep.
We're used to snow.
Absolutely.
But, during my time in Louisiana, if they got a half inch of sleet, it was just people lost their minds.
And remember, Tokyo doesn't have any snow clearing capability. So if you think you're going to go downtown, you're better to stay on base where we have more snow removal capability than anywhere else.
Definitely. Well, sir, again, we appreciate you coming in for this, special interview. You coming in
You
the
bet.
studio. We definitely appreciate it, sir. And I hope we can do it again.
I think we will. And maybe you'll remember to bring a jersey. We'll be good to go.
I'm definitely bringing a jersey next time, sir.
Sounds good.
All right. It is 7:32, sir. I want to go ahead and kick it to a song. It's Bon Jovi, We Weren't Born to Follow.
Yeah, there are some good theme songs out there. This is definitely one of them.
All right, folks, stay tuned. We got more music on the way for you. Thank you again, sir.
All right, thanks, Airman Carr.